Chapter 2. The Sunrise of My Life's Fortune. On that day, I wholeheartedly and completely surrendered myself to Gurudev, and my inmost soul silently pledged, I hereby surrender to you all that I am and have. I have not seen God, but you are my God, because you are guiding me towards my highest good. I will explicitly mold my life in accordance with the instructions imparted by you. The instructions that Gurudev gave that day were: Number 1. Performance of 24 Mahapurusharans of Gayatri in 24 years. Number 2. Installation of an uninterruptedly lighted Ghrit lamp. And 3. Visiting his retreat in the Himalayas 4 times as per his calls, and living there in some proximate place for prescribed periods for intensive spiritual pursuits, sadhana, under his direct and systematic guidance. Some further instructions, which need not be disclosed here, were also given. All these instructions have been followed throughout my life, and all that has been accomplished in my life is the result of Gurudev's grace. Meeting an authentic Guru, a unique act of grace. Ramakrishna had gone in search of Vivekanand to his house. Samarth Ramdas had discovered Shivaji. Chandragupta was caught hold of Chanakya. Gokhale won over Gandhi. This equally well applied in my case. Gurudev appeared before me in my house in his astral body when I was 15 years old, activated and empowered my faith, and yoked all the energies of my being in a specific direction. While countless persons wandering in search of Sadguru returned empty-handed after being deceived by quacks, what was particularly special about me, for which a divine being had to appear before me uninvited and spontaneously showered his grace on me? The only rational answer is that I had earned merit for this benediction by sattvic austerities over many earlier lifetimes. This does not happen randomly. It requires devout austerities and overcoming of evil tendencies over a long period of self-effort. A combination of determination, patience, and devotion creates the firm background for spiritual awakening. Earning such merit is true discipleship, after which it takes no time to attain fulfillment. It is the attainment of merit which takes time. No time is taken in finding the Guru. Eklavya's Dronacharya, prepared out of clay, proved more effective than the real one. When Ramananda refused to initiate Kabir as he was an untouchable, he discovered a device. He lay down in the dark on the stairs of Kashi Ghat. When Ramanand passed through the stairs before dawn to take his bath, his feet suddenly fell on the chest of Kabir. Ramanand was startled. He uttered Ram and drew back. Kabir took this utterance to be his initiation, Ram as his mantra and Ramanand as his Guru. This is the magic of true faith. When an idol of stone can become God, why cannot an appropriate person be made Guru on the strength of faith and devotion? This does not require whispering something in the ear or performing any rituals. Guru is needed for spiritual awakening because he discharges the dual responsibility of father and teacher. A child is brought up and educated through the cooperation of both the father, who spends a part of his earnings on his maintenance and education, and the teacher, who imparts knowledge to him. Father can fulfill the physical needs, whereas guidance for spiritual growth is given by the Guru from his accumulated store of divine energy. The disciple can do nothing on his own strength. That is the truth behind the saying, there is no knowledge without Guru. There are people who ever remain on vain search of a guru. Even when they are able to find some illumined person, they get disappointed because they undeservedly expect the guru to bestow on them their divine gifts. And no true master would squander away his hard earned attainments on an undeserving person for mere gratification of his ego. A true master is wise enough to judge the worthiness or otherwise of a seeker. Dayanand had transformed his life in accordance with the instructions of his guru Virjanand. Vivekanand relinquished all his desires and took to strenuous sadhana to please his guru. This is the real surrender and devotion to the guru. Hanuman surrendered himself to Ram and apparently lost everything, but became a saint and was empowered to accomplish superhuman tasks that Ram alone could have done. Crossing the sea, uprooting mountains, setting fire to Lanka were feats which Hanuman could not have been able to do by himself. On his own, he was unable even to protect his master Sugriv from the tyranny of Bali. It was unconditional surrender which created couple integration with the Lord of his devotion. A little water of Ganga falling in a gutter becomes dirty, but if and when a stream of this polluted water embraces the main stream of Ganga, it loses its separate impure existence and becomes holy Ganga itself. Ordinary and ignorant persons lacking any merit become worthy of initiation into the spiritual path by unconditionally surrendering themselves to a competent awakened soul. On embracing fire, a piece of wood becomes identical with and as bright as fire itself. The aim of devotion is attainment of God awareness, but to establish a link with God, the invisible, it is necessary to take support of some visible symbol. This need can be fulfilled either by idols of God or by some living guru of spiritual attainment. My aspirations were fulfilled all of a sudden. No doubt, my sadhana had been started long back in previous births to attain worthiness. Awakening of Kundalini power, God realization, liberation, etc. are all subsequent events. The first and the foremost thing is to acquire the ability to attain and bear with equanimity the inrush of divine light and energy, otherwise it creates imbalance and complications as it happens when one tries to lift a weight beyond one's capacity or eats what one cannot digest. Surrender to the Guru was accomplished on the very first day of our meeting, and my loyalty was immediately tested. Two things were specifically enjoined on me. 1. Turn a deaf ear to what worldly people say and march ahead towards the goal all alone on your own strength. 2. Practice devout austerity, tapascharya, to make yourself progressively more and more purified in heart and brilliant in intellect. For this, sustain yourself only on barley bread and buttermilk during the period in which 24 Gayatri Mahapurusharans are performed. You will get all divine gifts which a pilgrim of spiritual path gets on attainment of competence. These gifts will be meant purely for being used for benevolent and altruistic purposes and not for fulfillment of pretty selfish motives. That momentous day of Basant Parv became for me a day of adoption of Gurudev's discipline and beginning of a new way of life. There is no shortage of beggars in this world, but there are also rare benevolent persons who gift away everything to deserving persons. Krishna had gifted away unasked plentiful prosperity to Sudama. Meeting of my Sadguru was an event of unique and extremely good fortune for me. A vision of past births which Gurudev had shown to me related to spiritual masters of rare eminence who were all shining stars in the reformist tradition of Indian saints. They worked for the well-being and upliftment of religion, society, nation and culture of their times. They were all devotees of God, because without divine devotion, it is difficult to get rid of sins and impurities and attain spiritual illumination and strength. Along with their own spiritual upliftment, they were engaged in the tasks of transmuting and beautifying this universe, the garden of God. I had no desire to know more than what I was revealed. I thought it proper to sit on one boat, remain under the benevolent protection and seek support of only one master and not allow my faith to falter. The events relating to the previous births were quite sufficient for my assurance. Those who undertake the responsibility of performing momentous tasks have to face and surmount great difficulties at every step of the uphill journey. They have to display extraordinary fortitude. This was required of me also in ample measure. Gurudev has been appearing for my help from time to time. He has immensely augmenting my own significant abilities with great spiritual force and has been rescuing and uplifting me in critical moments when my own feeble feet were on the point of staggering. I had decided once for all that my life shall remain surrendered at his feet and I will implicitly comply with his directions. Believe me, I do have a heart full to the brim with limitless love, compassion and kindness, if nothing else. Whosoever has given me a spoonful of love has received a bucketful in return. Whenever I think of bidding goodbye to my parijans with whom I have shared the labor, love, joy and laughter of life together, the picture of separation of cow from the calf comes before my imagination's eyes and I am full of agonizing pain. Sometimes a fleeting cloud of doubt passes through the sky of my mind whether my aging physical frame will be able to withstand the blow of this separation or will give way. My life, its legacy and message. हमारी वसीयत और विरासत. Author Sri Ram Sharma Acharya.
If you found this video helpful, then please like, comment and share it and subscribe to our YouTube channel Rishi Chintan. Please press the bell icon so that you will receive notifications of our upcoming videos. Thank you.